Hey guys, I'm back. I didn't die, I didn't commit suicide yesterday. What happened was I was in the middle of part 88 and my internet completely went out. They were even watching TV downstairs while I was doing my live stream and their TV went out, and it was out for over an hour. So it just totally bungled my whole live stream. So I'm going to go ahead and finish part 88. Is the community moral? Now, I'm not going to repeat what I said yesterday, though. I'm just going to continue the topic. And I think we left off. I was showing you this bubble gum binder I have, just wrappers. Now, I have tons of sealed vintage bubble gum, and I have way more wrappers, but these are like sets of wrappers, and so it's kind of a weird binder, but really cool. You know what? I want to start actually with the etiquette thing. I've been trying to tell you about this for like 4 videos, and I keep forgetting or something happens. And this might actually work in with our topic of wrath. So, okay, so here's what happened. So, the other day I got these off eBay. Now, these are vintage cheap toy finger puppets. They're injection molded. These were made in a factory. Just amazing pieces of history, and something I have not learned anything else about them. The seller was able to give me photos of what else was in the box with these. Now, he did sell some other stuff that was in the box, but he showed me what was left, and everything that he showed me, and I have the photos, are dating from the late 80s to early 90s, which is cool because it actually reaffirms my gut feeling that these were probably made between 1990 and 1992. The reason I think that is because of just a gut feeling of when I looked at these. In fact, the number that keeps coming in my head is 1992. Okay, but anyway, this is what happened. So when these came up for sale on eBay, I was the first one to bid, of course, because these are in my category, right? You would expect me to bid on this, right? So one thing I've been trying to tell you guys about is about etiquette. So in collecting Garbage Pail Kids, there's an etiquette. So the etiquette comes into play when at least 2 people want the same thing, right? So maybe you're on Don, Deal or No Deal, and something comes up for sale, and then people start bidding. Well, there's an etiquette to that. Now, I want to preface this by saying this is a free fucking country, right? Last I checked, America's a free fucking country. I can bid on what I want, right? You can bid on what you want, right? So, and nothing's going to change that. It's a free fucking country, and we're operating in a free market, meaning these were on eBay. So why is there any politics? Why is there any etiquette involved in an item that's not on Facebook? This was on eBay. Completely free market, completely outside of our community, right? But yet there's still etiquette. Why? Because I told you guys this. The Garbage Pail Kids community it's not a free country. Okay? So when I bid on this, you might have wanted them, but in your heart, you probably knew you shouldn't bid on these. Now, you might remember I made a video. Let me pick some of these up so you have something to look at. I love this one. Guys, the only thing I said about these was I made a video. In fact, I didn't even mention the finger puppets. I made a video about etiquette because I got mad. The reason I got mad about these is when I was bidding, I was the first one to bid, of course. Someone started ringing me up, trying to outbid me. Now that pissed me off. Why is someone running me up? You know who that is bidding. Even if you don't know, you probably know I'm around or I have it sniped. Why are you running this item up? Okay, but that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how this auction ended. So this was a 7-day auction, or 9-day. What was it? It felt, guys, it felt like, this felt like 2 months. When this item came up, I felt like I was holding my breath the whole week. Like, I was having trouble sleeping. I didn't want to jinx it by even looking at it. Like, I avoided going back to the auction to even look at these on eBay. And so what ended up happening is I put a low-key suicide bid on this. Now, if you don't know what a suicide bid is, that's because that's not a term. That's a term I made up. A suicide bid is when you put a bid down that you can't pay for. Now, I've done suicide bids for $10,000 before on candy items. I don't have any examples around, but I've put suicide bids. One time, I think I did like a $20,000 bid. Now, do I have $20,000 to put on some plastic shit? No. That's called a suicide bid. To me, that's what I call it. Now, the suicide bid, I won't tell you exactly. Some people know what I put down on it, but it doesn't really matter. But I didn't have the money to pay for it. Had it gone up that far, I wouldn't have been able to pay for it. It's a suicide bid. Now, the reason you put suicide bids is because you can't afford to lose it. I couldn't afford to lose these. All right, so at the very end, suddenly, out of the fucking blue, this got run up. I got run up. To $1,500. This went for $1,500. And it turns out I know who was bidding against me. And the person bidding against me is a significant member of the community. So here we have an etiquette issue. So I'm going to tell you kind of what the issue is without giving you his name. All right, so again, this is a free country. These etiquette rules are not written down in any books. It's because it's like more personal, community-based, unwritten rules of how to bid against other people that you know and you're friends with. And none of this would matter except I have to live with these people. I've had to live with these people for almost 20 years in this hobby. And one of these fuckers, I shouldn't have said that. I misspoke. I'm sorry. He's not a fucker. You know what? Honestly, I'm more bitter about the fucker who bid me in the very beginning, who just ran me up. Like, he ran it up to, I think it was like $800 for no fucking reason. And he put me in a bidding war for no fucking reason. I still don't know who that fucker is. But anyway, the guy who was the runner-up is a very well-known collector. And, all right, so here's the deal. So he bidded $1,500, and I had a suicide bid, so he was never going to win it. He could have bid way more than that. But anyway, here's the deal. So he did not contact me before he bid. So right there is a little bit of etiquette issue. Now, he knew he couldn't contact me before he bid because I would have backed him off of it. Or I would have sent him something, like I would have paid him off to not bid on it. I kind of wish he would have done that, but it's not that big of a deal. You know, $1,500. I mean, you know, that's like a kick in one of your nuts. It's not like a kick in both nuts. You know what I mean? It's just like, but, so what happened was he put in a snipe, and I had my suicide snipe, and then it just rang up to $1,500. And that was that. And I won it. And, but he waited for 3 hours. So I didn't get contacted by my competitor for 3 hours. And that is good etiquette. You never contact the person you beat or you tried to run up or beat or whatever. You never contact them right away. Because why? Because I was mad. And he knew I was mad. See, that's what the thing about etiquette is. There's some common sense to it. He knows me. I know him. He knew I was mad. He knew it was shitty to do that. But anyway, he did contact me. You know what he said? He said that he really wanted him. Okay, that's fair enough. That he really loved him. So he focused the conversation not on me and him as, a friendship or whatever, but he focused on the toys themselves, which is where the conversation should stay when you're a competitor. Don't make it personal. I do like how he contacted me. A shit house would have never contacted you. They would have just been a shit house. And then you would have had a problem. But because he followed through and he sent basically an apology, he said he's sorry. He sent an apology to me. He did follow good etiquette, and life can continue. One reason this didn't become a bigger deal is because technically he has seniority over me, because he was around for at least 1.5 years before I got into the hobby. Now, me and him were both first wave collectors. We're from the all new series era. But he was technically in the building about 1 year before I got in. And another thing to add to this, he actually had a better cheap toy collection than me for a long time. So he has a cheap toy collection, and like I was telling you guys, he did have a claim to these. And there's some other collectors out there that have a claim to these as well. But I have the biggest claim. And so etiquette tells you that these probably belong to me. And if you exist in the same community I exist in, you probably should just back off these. And I had some other collectors reach out to see where I was at with them, if I wanted them. Of course I wanted, because I had the bid on them. But they were just kind of testing me, right? And that is a form of etiquette as well. So the point of this is communication, right? So if we're in this community together, if you and I are supposed to be friends, or at least collecting buddies, the idea is that there's etiquette involved. You can't just come to my fucking house and start grabbing shit. There's got to be communication. If we're, it sucks that these are the only ones that exist. But these should go to the top collector in the toy category, which is definitely me by a mile. And if you try to outbid me on these, there's a question of etiquette. But I will say, let me end it right here, at least this part, is the guy handled it like a true boss. I'm not mad about it. I was still a little bitter, like in the first couple days. So how I got back at him was I made a video on the marketplace. That could have gone way worse. I could have made it way more like a bragging thing, but I didn't. So I just had to do a little clap back. And on the video, he did not like the video, but I know he saw it. And he and I both know what I was doing there. He and I both know why he sent the apology message, because we're in this fucking community. Okay, we have to live with each other. Do you really want me mad at you? Do you really want me wanting something in your collection so bad that I'm constantly picking at you for years and years and years? So it's best when something like this comes up to give it to the person it truly belongs to, and you probably shouldn't fuck with them. And that's the case of finger puppets. All right. Yeah, so there was some etiquette there. Let's move these over. Oh, and I'm still digging into these, man. God damn, every time I pick these up, I always pick up Hermit. Like I didn't even look down. I'm always picking up this one. God. Yeah, some of my most favorite things I think I've ever held in Garbage Pail Kids are these. Just incredible. I told you guys I've been depressed, and you know what I think it is I was on such a fucking high when these came in that I there's no way to go but down. You know what I mean? And so I just been going through some shit, man. But I'm feeling better. I'm making a video, so I feel better. Actually, let me put you down just a minute. Yeah. So yesterday I talked about sloth. Is sloth a big issue in the hobby? Absolutely. So sloth is one of the deadly sins. Now I kind of don't want to go back over it because I did yesterday, but just in like a little short review. Yeah, sloth is just basically you're not willing to do what's right because it's too hard. It's easy to fall back on what's comfortable. And so when you think about sloth, you think about laziness, right? So that's just the basic symptom of sloth. But that's not all there is to it. The idea is that as good people, we should be doing good things in the world, yet we usually fall back into comfort zones and things that just make us feel it's comfortable, man. That's just the word that keeps coming up. Okay, this is cool. This is not Garbage Pail Kids. I know what it is. Check it out. Yeah, I had to have this. I collect vintage ice cream collectibles. This is an ice cream truck decal. It went on the ice cream truck. It's unused, but it's by a famous company called Hood, or most people call them Hoods. But this is their Hood Witch ice cream cookie. And to someone who is alive in 2022, I mean, I'm just going to say it, right? It's just, you think of the word hood, you know what I mean? Hood Witch, I mean, you kidding me? It's one of the greatest things I saw last week. Hood Witch, wow. Really? That was an item back in the 80s. That's killer. All right, let's finish up this book, and we're talking about wrath. And it kind of goes in with this. I did feel wrath when I got bitted up. And I answered wrath by not screaming, but I made a video on etiquette because I'm learning something. I'm getting older. I'm knocking on 50's door here. And, the old Russ fan would have went ape shit, would have gone online and, really cornered everyone to get answers. Yeah, I showed these yesterday. These are amazing. These are bubblegum pouches. Slush Puppy. How many of those did you drink? Remember Jam Shorts? Did you know they made a bubblegum for jams? Really pretty. These are like made out of paper and foil. Like Big League Chew. This is the same company that made Big League Chew, but they also made novelty one's Mad Dog. Look how he's barfing up. Very 80s. These are cool. These are now these are from the mid 90s. Always consider this period Lollapalooza era, because I would always go to the Lollapalooza shows. I don't know if you guys went to those, but to me they look very Lollapalooza, like grunge, post-grunge. Remember when psychedelic stuff came back during the mid-90s? Oh, these are cool. They made these for all the major SEC teams. I think I said that right. Anyway, I picked up the Crimson Tide and the Bulldogs. This is my alma mater. I went to University of Georgia. So that's my baby. In fact, when they won the national championship, I did a video of me eating the bubble gum from this. If you go to my profile, Russell Vandiver, like my personal profile, scroll down to when last year's national championship was, and I did a live stream of me eating this the night they won the championship. And what's crazy is my family saw me do it, and like my family's like commenting in the video, and they're like, yeah, I kind of like outed myself in front of my family. Oh, you are a fucking weirdo. Yeah, you might remember these. These are really cool. Look at those. Yeah, some of these are very hard to find. You know, I have sealed ones too, but the thing is, you should always, if you go into collecting candy, you should always take the candy out, just always. Because it'll eventually ruin the container. Especially when you're talking about paper and foil, you know. This jumble is actually pages of clear cello. Just fucking miscellaneous. Sometimes you just gotta stick shit where it can fit, you know. That's what she said. But really, like, I have so much of this shit. I have so many waiting to go into binders that maybe never make it to binder. They just gonna stay in big ass piles. Very cool. So yeah, let's finish this up. So wrath. Wrath is something I struggle with. Wrath is just just anger, man. That's unjustified. Did I have a reason to be angry? I'll just use these to explain wrath. Did I have an excuse to be angry that someone bitted me up? Well, I just went like for 15 minutes telling you why I had a reason to be angry. Someone I know that knows me. Listen, someone I know that knows me rang me up. Now, that bid of $1,500 that he put down, there is a little bit of etiquette there, too. Let me tell you why. When he put that down, he was trying to win it. That's a winning bid. Don't you think that that's almost a crazy bid? Are these actually worth $1,500? So that's another thing with etiquette, is if you're going to bid against a friend or someone, a colleague, you got to go big. You got to bid to win. Because if you lose it, they're going to question your character, and they're always going to question, were you just trying to ring me up? Were you just trying to cost me more money? And so the reason he gets away with this, he has seniority. He also is a low-key collector in my category of toys, because he has a lot of toys, is because he put in a winning high bid. Like, he went for the win. Had he put in $800, that would have been extra fucking shitty. Extra shitty. But I still think I have an excuse to be mad. Why is he bidding at all? Had he won these, would he have glorified the finger puppets as much as I will, or would? Now, he does have a big platform. He actually has a website. Well, I'm making a website now because I'm getting off of Facebook and quitting Garbage Pail Kid community, and I'm starting a website, which is where you'll be able to find me from here on out. But I still think I have a reason to be wrathful. But it's definitely a sin of mine, and it's something that I see a lot on these groups. I see a lot of wrath, a lot of people that has unjustified anger. I mean, on a lot of these things where people are betting against each other, you'll see wrath. People get really upset. I used to just absolutely lose my shit. And it's just something about getting older and just trying to be a better person, like being cognizant of it, that I try not to be as wrathful. But I'm still pretty passive aggressive. Like how I made the video on Marketplace to, you know, like a low-key clapback. Is kind of passive aggressive. And but you know, that's where I'm at. I have to do something. And I think, you know, in these situations, you know, if someone walks up to you and pours a drink on your shirt on purpose, you have to do something back. You know, now would Jesus do something back? Probably not. But I think in a culture or a community like Garbage Pail Kids, you kind of expect some, blowback from something like that. What is the cure for wrath? I had to look this one up. What about patience? Taking the time to understand the needs and desires of others before acting and speaking. So the video I made on Marketplace did not come the next day. It took about a week. Because even I knew that I had etiquette. There's almost an etiquette to your wrath. If you are going to clap back, there's a time and place for that. And so I think etiquette plays into a lot of these sins. I think when you're using etiquette in the hobby and you're showing good manners to your other collecting buddies, that is almost like morality. And I've been saying this whole time that, maybe Garbage Pail Kids. Let me grab something else, dude. I'm just rambling today. Let's see. Yeah, there's some shit that came in. I had to get this, man. First of all, it's super cheap. They're still cheap to buy, but just for a rookie card, look at that judge, man. What year? Let's see. 1960? Yeah, I think this is based off the 1960 baseball. Yeah, I used to be a hardcore baseball card collector. Yeah, I want to say 1960. Yeah, amazing. And he did an amazing job this year. Yeah, man. So with wrath, it's something that, I'm constantly working on. And I see a lot of other people struggling with it. Usually what happens is a lot of passive aggression because it's hard to be, batshit crazy when you're on Facebook. That's another problem I have with Facebook. It's hard to be to me, it's hard to be like my truest, most raw form on Facebook because it just seems like there's so many people watching and rules and shit that we're even out of control over. I think, Mark Zuckerberg actually has own rules in place. Yeah, we're all kind of under his spell, basically. Yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're going to be talking about envy, the deadly sin of envy. Are you jealous? Are you envious? As a Garbage Pail Kid collector, I would say yeah, aren't we? Cool, man. So I hope you enjoyed that. Go out and find you some finger puppets. These are amazing. That's all I got. Go eat some Hoodwitch. Have a good day. Russ Van, out.